My name is Natalie Chen. I'm 35 years old, the founder of Stratus Innovations in Seattle, a company I built from a rented desk second-hand laptop and a stubborn refusal to be underestimated. But to my family, I was never the founder, never the CEO, never the woman who signed a $30 million enterprise contract without blinking. I was just Emily's older sister. The quiet one, the serious one, the one who worked with computers. Invisible. I thought my sister's wedding might finally change that. I was wrong. The invitation sat on my kitchen counter for 3 days before I opened it. Heavy ivory cardstock, copper foil lettering, expensive. The kind of paper that whispers money before you even read the words. Mr. and Mrs. David Chen request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their daughter, Emily Chen, to Mr. Jonathan Blake. I read it twice. Not because I was emotional, because I was calculating. 2 weeks earlier, I had signed a $30 million contract with Blake Enterprises, Jonathan Blake's company, my technology, their logistics empire. It was supposed to be a game-changing partnership. And yet, this invitation felt like it had been mailed to a distant acquaintance. No handwritten note, no warmth, no "can't wait to see you." Just formality. Just obligation. Just family. I set it down and stared out the window of my high-rise apartment. Lake Union shimmered under gray Seattle skis. Boats cut quiet lines through the water, steady, unbothered. I wished I felt that steady. A memory surfaced, uninvited. Berkeley, graduation day. I stood at the podium, top of my class, speech memorized, hands shaking. I scanned the crowd. No parents. No sister. They arrived after I finished, smiling, waving, asking if they'd missed anything important. Emily had a tennis tournament that weekend. She always had something. I looked back at the RSVP card, accepts, regretfully declines. My pen hovered. I should have declined. But some small, stubborn part of me still wanted proof that I mattered. I checked accept. That night, my phone lit up with a FaceTime call. Jake. His face filled the screen, warm brown eyes, half smile, soft concern already forming. You look like you just agreed to something you're going to regret. I held up the invitation. He winced. Family event. Emily's wedding. Leaned back, emotional hazard zone. I feel stupid for hopping, it'll be different this time. You're not stupid, he said gently. You're human and hopeful and unfortunately related to them. I laughed despite myself. I'll go with you, he added. Moral support, plus I clean up nice in a suit. My chest loosened a little. Yeah, I'd like that. The Blake estate looked like something out of a luxury magazine. Sweeping lawns, marble fountains, white tents glowing under soft golden lights. Money didn't just exist here, it performed. Jake stepped out of the car beside me, offering his arm. Ready. No, I said honestly, but let's go anyway. Inside, the air smelled like roses and champagne. Laughter floated across the courtyard. Women in pastel dresses, men in tailored suits. My parents stood near the bar. My mother spotted me. Her smile flickered, surprise first, then quick evaluation. Her eyes scanned my emerald dress like she was assessing whether I matched the decor. You came, she said, air kissing my cheek. I said I would. And this is Jake Morales, he said smoothly, shaking her hand. Lovely, she replied, already distracted. Her gaze shifted past me toward someone more important. She linked her arm through mine anyway, steering me across the courtyard like an accessory she wasn't sure she wanted to display. Your father's talking to Jonathan. You should say hello. Jonathan Blake stood tall, confident, navy suit tailored within an inch of perfection. He looked every bit the powerful executive I'd negotiated with over video calls. When he saw me, his expression brightened with recognition. Natalie Chen, he said, offering his hand, the brain behind Stratus Innovations. Before I could answer, my mother laughed lightly. She's always been our little computer whiz. Little computer whiz. Like I built apps in a basement instead of a multi-million-dollar platform. Jonathan's brow creased slightly. Emily never mentioned her sister runs the company we just partnered with. Right on cue, Emily appeared. Perfect hair, perfect smile, perfect bride energy. She's busy with her tech stuff, Emily said breezily, one-armed hugging me without really looking at me. Tech stuff. I felt Jake's hand settle at the small of my back, steadying. Grounding. Jonathan studied me with new interest, but the moment drifted away as champagne was poured and conversations shifted. I should have seen the warning signs then. But hope is a stubborn thing. It keeps whispering, maybe this time will be different. The ceremony was beautiful. I'll give them that. Sunset light, gentle music, handwritten vows. I even cried a little. Not because of the romance. Because I still wished my family could love me the way strangers clapped for Emily. Then came the reception. A wedding planner with a too bright smile stood at the entrance, tablet in hand. Name: Natalie Chen, +1. Her finger paused on the screen. Just a second. But I saw it. That flicker. That hesitation. Oh yes, table O. She didn't say it like a letter. She said it like a reaction. Oh. She motioned for us to follow. We walked past crystal chandeliers, past tables draped in silk, past centerpieces that probably cost more than my first car. We kept walking. Through a side hallway. Past swinging kitchen doors. The air changed, butter, garlic, dishwasher steam. Then I saw it. A small folding table in the corner near stacks of catering trays, 2 metal chairs, a crooked white cloth. No centerpiece. No candles. Just out of the way. I'm so sorry, the catering manager whispered. Last-minute seating change, the bride insisted. The bride. My sister. Jake went still beside me, anger radiating off him in quiet waves. This is a joke, right? I couldn't speak. Across the hall, through the open doorway, I saw Emily laughing at the head table, bathed in warm light, surrounded by important people. She glanced toward the kitchen. Our eyes met. She looked away. And in that exact moment, something inside me didn't just hurt. It ended. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a clean, quiet break. 35 years of trying. 35 years of shrinking. 35 years of explaining my success in softer words, so no one felt threatened. Gone. I turned to Jake, voice calm in a way that surprised even me. I need 5 minutes. I walked to the restroom, locked the door, and stared at my reflection. Mascara perfect. Dress flawless. Eyes different. Clear. Cold. Resolved. I pulled out my phone and scrolled to Ethan, my COO. He answered on the first ring. Natalie, how's the royal wedding? Terminate the Blake contract, I said. Silence. Then carefully, immediately. Immediately. I hung up. No tears now. No shaking hands. Just clarity. If they wanted me seated like I didn't matter, they were about to find out exactly how much I did. And this time, I wasn't going to stay quiet. I walked back into the reception like I belonged there. Because I did. Conversations hummed under the soft glow of chandeliers. Waiters drifted between tables with trays of champagne. Laughter rose and fell like background music to a life I had almost convinced myself I wasn't part of. Jake fell into step beside me, reading my face instantly. What did you do? Ended it, I said quietly. The contract. Yes. His eyebrows lifted, not in shock, but in impressed approval. Remind me never to underestimate you. We didn't return to table O. We walked straight toward the head table. Each step felt measured, controlled, Not fueled by rage, but by something colder and more powerful, self-respect. Jonathan Blake noticed me first. He straightened in his chair, confusion flashing across his face as he set down his wine glass. Emily followed his gaze. Her smile faltered. Tara, Jonathan's sister, mid-laugh he turned and went still. I stopped at the edge of the head table. The music carried on behind me, but the space around us tightened, like the air before a storm. Jonathan, I said calmly. He stood, buttoning his jacket on instinct. Natalie, hey, we were just talking about the rollout timeline. There won't be one. Emily blinked. I just instructed my team to terminate the Stratus Blake contract, effective immediately. The words didn't echo. They landed. Heavy. Jonathan's face drained of color. I'm sorry, what? Your company will receive formal notice from our legal department first thing Monday morning. Tara let out a short, disbelieving laugh. You're joking, right? I looked at her. She stopped laughing. Emily stood up too, nearly knocking over her chair. Natalie, not here. This is my wedding. I held her gaze. Exactly. Jonathan lowered his voice, stepping closer. If there's an issue, we can discuss it privately. We've both invested months into this partnership. You invested money, I said evenly. I invested trust. His jaw tightened. This is about seating. It's about respect. Emily's voice cracked. It was just a table. For you, I replied. For me, it was confirmation. A few nearby guests had gone completely silent. Executives. People who understood exactly what a $30 million contract disappearing overnight meant. Jonathan ran a hand through his hair, composure slipping. Natalie, we've already announced this partnership to stakeholders. You can't just pull out without discussion. I can, I said, and I did. Tara scoffed. This is emotional blackmail. No, I said softly. This is a business decision made by someone who finally understands her value. Emily stepped around the table, tears in her eyes. You're ruining my wedding over a misunderstanding. I studied her face. For the first time, I wasn't searching for approval or affection. I was simply seeing her. You ruined, said gently, years ago. Silence stretched between us. Jonathan tried again, voice tight but controlled. Let's talk numbers, revisions, equity, whatever it takes. I shook my head. Stratus doesn't partner with companies that treat its leadership like an afterthought. His expression shifted then, from frustration to realization. This wasn't a tantrum. This was final. Jake's hand found mine. I squeezed it once, grounding myself. I hope the rest of your evening is beautiful, I said to Emily, and I meant it in the most distant, detached way possible. Then I turned and walked away. This time, people moved aside as I passed. Not because I was family. Because they finally understood exactly who I was. The night air outside was cool and sharp, carrying the distant echo of music and forced celebration behind us. Jake exhaled slowly once we reached the parking area. That, he said, was the calmest corporate execution I've ever witnessed. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. I didn't plan it. Yeah, he replied. That's what makes it legendary. We got into the car. The estate lights faded in the rearview mirror like a glittering illusion I had finally walked out of. Halfway home, my phone started buzzing. Unknown number. I declined. It rang again. Jonathan. Declined. Then a text from Emily. Emily, asterisk, please don't do this. Talk to me. I stared at the screen, then locked my phone without answering. For once, I didn't feel guilty. I felt done. Monday morning, the city looked the same. Gray sky, ferries crossing the water, people rushing to work with coffee in hand. But my world had shifted. Ethan was already in my office when I arrived, tablet in hand, eyes wide with adrenaline. So, he said, Blake Enterprises has called 12 times, emailed 7. Our legal notice went out at 8:01 a.m. They are officially spiraling. Good, I said calmly, setting my bag down. He studied me for a moment. You okay? I considered the question. Not sad. Not angry. Not even shaky. Yeah, I said. I think I finally am. He nodded once respectfully and handed me the tablet. There's more. Harbor Capital reached out. They heard the partnership dissolved. They want a meeting. Alpine Ventures, too. I blinked. News travels fast when big money moves faster. A slow realization settled in. Walking away hadn't weakened Stratus. It had made the market pay attention. My phone buzzed again. This time I answered. Ms. Chen, this is Michael Lee from Harbor Capital. We'd love to explore a direct partnership, without intermediaries. I glanced at Ethan. He grinned. Schedule, said. By noon, Jonathan finally got through. His voice was tight but measured. Natalie, we need to fix this. The board is furious. We can renegotiate. There's nothing to renegotiate, I replied. You're making this personal. No, I said. You did, when you decided I was small enough to sideline. A pause. Then quieter, I didn't know. You didn't ask. Silence again. When he spoke next, the confidence was gone. What would it take to reopen discussions? I looked out at the Seattle skyline, clouds drifting, glass towers reflecting light. Respect, I said. That's not something you can wire transfer. I ended the call. That evening, Emily showed up at my apartment unannounced. I almost didn't open the door. But I did. She stood there without makeup, hair pulled back, eyes swollen. I messed up, she said immediately. Not just the table, everything. I crossed my arms, not defensive, just steady. Because I've spent my whole life competing with you, she whispered, and I never once admitted you already won by not playing the same game. The honesty surprised me. Not enough to erase the past, but enough to hear her. I'm not canceling my decision, I said. Business is business. She nodded, tears slipping down. I know. I'm not here about the contract. I'm here because I don't want to lose my sister, too. I held her gaze for a long moment. You didn't lose me at the wedding, I said quietly. You lost me years ago. I just finally stopped pretending. That hurt her. It was supposed to. But, I continued, what happens next is up to you, not apologies, actions. She nodded again like someone being handed a map after years of being lost. When she left, I didn't feel victorious. I felt lighter. Friday afternoon, Ethan walked into my office, holding a folder like it contained state secrets. Harbor Capital's offer, he said. Bigger valuation, better terms, full respect clause on leadership representation. I smiled slightly. They learned fast. He tilted his head. How the world listens the moment you stop begging to be heard. I signed the deal. Not out of revenge. Not out of pride. But because it was right for the company I built, without anyone's permission. That night, I stood on my balcony overlooking the city lights. Jake wrapped his arms around me from behind. Any regrets? He asked softly. I thought about the wedding, the kitchen table, the head table, the stunned silence. No, I said. For the first time in my life, I hadn't fought to keep a seat at someone else's table. I flipped the table over and built my own. 2 weeks later, the fallout was complete. Blake Enterprises, stock had dipped the morning after our termination notice went public. Investor confidence doesn't like surprises, and losing a tech partner tied to their upcoming infrastructure expansion was a very expensive surprise. Industry blogs picked it up first, then business journals, then mainstream outlets. Stratus Innovations walks away from $30 M deal. CEO Natalie Chen pulls contract citing leadership misalignment. Blake Enterprises scrambles after sudden tech exit. I didn't give interviews. I didn't need to. Silence, when you hold leverage, is louder than outrage. Our legal team handled everything with surgical precision. The termination clause, buried deep in subsection 14.3, allowed immediate withdrawal in cases of reputational or executive misconduct affecting partnership integrity. Most companies skim clauses like that. I wrote that clause. Jonathan's legal department tried to push back. They couldn't. Every call ended the same way. We understand your position. We'll be in touch. They weren't, because there was nothing left to say. Meanwhile, Harbor Capital moved fast. Faster funding, broader rollout, public acknowledgement of Stratus leadership in every press release. The first article about the new partnership featured my photo. Centered, credited, named. Not tech support, not behind the scenes. Founder and CEO Natalie Chen. My parents sent the article in the family group chat with a single message from my father. We saw this, proud of you. It was the first time he'd ever said that without attaching a comparison to Emily. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Thank you. No bitterness. No reopening old wounds. Just a boundary held so firmly that respect finally grew around it. Emily kept her distance at first, then she started trying in small, awkward ways. A message on my birthday that wasn't last minute. A real question about my work. Listening more, talking less. Change didn't happen overnight. But for once, it wasn't my job to carry the emotional weight of the relationship. She was learning. Or losing me. Her choice. 1 month after the wedding, I got an email from Jonathan. Short, direct. You were right. We should have treated you differently. I should have asked more questions. We lost more than a contract that night. I read it once, then archived it. Closure doesn't always need a reply. That evening, Stratus hosted a launch event for our expanded platform. Hundreds of partners, investors, press. As I stood backstage, Ethan nudged me. Full house, they're all here for you. I stepped onto the stage under bright white lights. Applause rolled through the room, steady and strong. For a second, I remembered the folding table by the kitchen. Then I looked at the crowd in front of me. And I smiled. Thank you all for being here, began. Stratus was built on one belief, that innovation thrives where respect exists, and we choose our partners the same way. No one missed the meaning. I didn't need to name names. Power doesn't shout. It stands still and lets the world adjust. Later, back home, heels off, hair down, I curled up on the couch beside Jake. From kitchen corner to center stage, he murmured. Turns out, I said, the best seat was never at their table. He kissed my forehead. Yeah, I built a better one. And I finally understood something that took me 35 years to learn. Sometimes the strongest move isn't proving your worth to people who ignore it. It's walking away so completely. The world has no choice but to see you. If this story meant something to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps more stories about strength, respect, and knowing your value reach the people who need them.